Headline: Biden facing growing internal dissent over Israel's Gaza campaign. Source: BBC News. Date: 18 November 2023. Details: U.S. President Joe Biden is under growing pressure to rein in Israel's military campaign against Hamas in Gaza. The thousands of civilian casualties and desperate humanitarian conditions have alarmed Arab allies, but also stirred an extraordinary level of criticism from within his own administration. "I'm stunned by the intensity," said Aaron David Miller, who worked as an advisor on Arab-Israeli relations during a 25-year tenure at the U.S. State Department. "I've never seen anything quite like this." Several internal memos have been sent to Secretary of State Antony Blinken through a channel established after the Vietnam War, which allows employees to register disapproval of policy. An open letter is also said to be circulating at the Agency for International Development, USAID. Another has been dispatched to the White House by political appointees and staff members representing dozens of government agencies. Another to members of Congress by staffers on Capitol Hill. Much of this dissent is private, and the signatures are often anonymous out of concerns the protest might affect jobs. So the full scale of it is not clear. But according to leaks cited by multiple reports, hundreds of people have signed on to the wave of opposition. An administration official has told the BBC that these concerns are very real, and there are active discussions about them. At a minimum, the letters are asking that President Biden demand an immediate ceasefire and push Israel much harder to allow for more humanitarian aid to enter Gaza. In some cases, the language is stronger, echoing the rhetoric of young political activists and apparently reflecting to some degree a generational divide that is more critical of Israel and sympathetic to Palestinians. The letters condemn the atrocities carried out by Hamas during its surprise 7 October attack that killed around 1,200 people, mostly Israeli civilians. More than 12,000 have been killed in Gaza by Israel since that attack, according to the latest figure from the territory's Hamas-run health ministry. Israel has said it is trying to minimize civilian casualties in the war in Gaza, but has not been successful, blaming this on Hamas. The high number of Palestinian deaths is a font of the dismay in the administration, according to Gina Abercrombie Winstonley, a former U.S. diplomat who is now president of the Middle East Policy Council. The administration's support for the Israeli military operation appears for many far too much of a one-sided position for the U.S. government, she said. Ms. Abercrombie Winstonley signed dissent cables during her career and has been consulted by current employees about whether they should do so now. "These memos feel like they have a broader reach than others," she said, drawing in people who are not necessarily working on the specific issue at hand. How Biden is responding. Ms. Abercrombie Winstonley believes the chorus of dismay has contributed to significant shifts in U.S. language and approach since the days immediately after the Hamas attack, when President Biden pledged unwavering support for Israel in an emotional address. Propelled by the destruction in Gaza and growing anger in the Arab world, the administration's rhetoric on protecting civilians has become more insistent. "Far too many Palestinians have been killed in Gaza," Mr. Blinken said recently. He and other senior officials are now treating humanitarian assistance as not only a moral imperative, but a strategic one too. This is something Mr. Blinken highlights when meeting frustrated employees in listening sessions, according to State Department spokesman Matthew Miller. He makes clear that it is the United States of America, not any other country, that was able to secure an agreement to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza and to get humanitarian pauses. The Secretary of State is aware of the disquiet simmering in his building and has made a point of addressing it. "We're listening," he wrote after returning from his recent trip to the Middle East. In an email obtained by the BBC, "What you share is informing our policy and our messages, but it has not changed core policy approaches, nor appeared to have had significant influence on Israel's military campaign." The Biden administration has become more open about airing its growing divergences with Israel. Mr. Blinken has deliberately set out principles of Palestinian governance and statehood, for the day after in Gaza that Israel's right-wing government rejects. The president is frequently on the phone to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and senior officials keep up a steady drumbeat of visits to the region, pressing Israel to follow the laws of war. But there's no suggestion the Biden administration is considering using its main leverage, putting conditions on its massive military assistance to Israel, which was ramped up even further after the Hamas attack. And Biden signaled this week that the U.S. had not given Israel a deadline for its military campaign to end. It will end when Hamas no longer maintains the capacity to murder, abuse, and just do horrific things to Israel, the president said. The bottom line is that the U.S. and Israel have the same goal, according to Mr. Miller, the former advisor at the State Department. Both want to destroy Hamas's capacity as a military organization, so it can never mount a 7 October-style attack again. With that aim in mind, he said, a full ceasefire that ends hostilities in pursuit of peace does not make operational or political sense. It only delays war, Mr. Miller said, because you're not going to get a negotiated ending to this. The tactics may differ, but the objective remains the same. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to get update news reminder.